Jonathan here. Thanks for joining me as we continue our study of two books. We're looking at the Bible and we're looking at the book, the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which is the definition of tradition in the Catholic Church, of their doctrine and practice. And what we're doing is we're answering a lot of the most common, frequently asked questions of Catholic belief and practice, quoting directly from this book and asking tough questions. In fact, if you would like the whole study for free, this ebook is downloadable, trustworthyword.com/Catholic. Here's an important question. Have you ever thought of this? Was Mary a virgin her entire life? And then did Jesus have brothers? Was Mary a virgin her entire life? And then did Jesus have any brothers? Well, here's what the Catholic Catechism says. It said, led the church to confess Mary's real and perpetual, that means ongoing, virginity. It says, there's an objection against this doctrine, and it raises the fact that the Bible mentions brothers and sisters of Jesus. And the church has always, this is what the Catholic Catechism says, the church has always understood these passages as not referring to other children of the Virgin Mary. In fact, James and Joseph, quote unquote, brothers of Jesus, are sons of another Mary, a disciple of Christ, who St. Matthew significantly calls the other Mary. They are close relations of Jesus according to an Old Testament expression. Here's another claim from the Catholic Catechism that Mary remained a virgin in conceiving her son, a virgin in giving birth to him, a virgin in carrying him, a virgin in nursing him at her breast, and always a virgin. What does the Bible say? The Bible is really clear that Joseph, he obeyed what the angel said. What was the commandment? To know her not to have sex with Mary until she had given birth to a son. And he called his name Jesus. Listen, one of the biblical commands to wives is to have sex with their husband. Why? That they may not be tempted. Would Mary have been a good wife by not having sex with her husband? No, she would have been a bad wife if she refused to be physically intimate with her husband Joseph. 1 Corinthians 7 gives us this command about not depriving one another. What about this? Would having additional children detract from Mary's holiness? Or would it add to her holiness from the standpoint of following the commands from the very beginning? Be fruitful and multiply. And in fact, the command here, if someone's a younger widow, God commands her to maybe get married and bear children. Bearing children is considered a good thing for a woman who follows God. John 2:12. So after this, Jesus went down to Capernaum. This is the reference to the wedding at Cana. Here's what happens immediately after. His mother, Mary, who's just rebuked Jesus, been corrected by him. She's interfered and Jesus has rebuked her. His mother continues and brings his brothers and his disciples. And they stayed there for a few days. In John 2, Jesus has just performed a miracle, water to wine, rebuked his mother Mary in the process. The same passage refers to Jesus' mother and brothers continuing with him to Capernaum. Now, if these brothers are just relatives, then why would they be so involved, traveling so much with Jesus and with Jesus' mother, if they are only cousins or distant relatives? In fact, these quote-unquote brothers are referenced so many times in so many different ways, it's really hard to reconcile that these are just some sort of distant cousins. There's no historical or linguistic evidence that the Greek words used in this passages about brothers and sisters of Jesus support the idea of them just being distant relatives. We've got to go look at the language, and the original language that the New Testament's written in is Greek, and these words do not support the idea that this was some sort of distant relationship. Here's a lot of other references I'll show you, and there's many more beyond this, but Matthew 13. Isn't this the carpenter's son? Isn't his mother called Mary? Are not his brothers James and Joseph, Simon and Judas? Are not his sisters with us? Luke 8, then his mother and his brothers came to him. Listen, if the reference, which the Catholic Catechism says that James and Joseph are sons of a different Mary, why is this going on in Matthew 13? His father, the carpenter's son, his mother, Mary, and right after that, brothers. If these James and Joseph are of another Mary, why would it connect it with Mary, the mother of Jesus? Very important. And then sisters too. Other passages, not even his brothers believed in him. John 7:5, Acts 1:13. They went to the upper room, and look who's there. Mary, the mother of Jesus, and his brothers. And look at 1 Corinthians 9:5. Don't we have the right to take along a believing wife, just like the other apostles? And who else do they point to? The brothers of the Lord. Other places as well. Why? Why would the Catholic Church invent and propagate the idea that Mary was always a virgin? Why, if they would twist the scriptures this way and misrepresent this situation, then what other areas of tradition are untrustworthy? That's a touchy question. But I hope you'll consider the evidence. I hope you'll look into the Bible yourself for these many references to Jesus' brothers and sisters. I hope you'll look into the Catholic Catechism and see their claims. But I think the answers are clear, but we have to be willing to ask tough questions. If this has been helpful to you, I hope you'll consider sharing it online with others and maybe going deeper into this Bible study with friends or family yourself. Thank you for joining me.